And we're going to jump back a few years for me too. 1982, in the spring, you would have found me on a bar stool in the Jerome Hotel in Aspen. I would have waved my glass and said, "You watch, someday I'm going to be a fly fishing guide and a painter." Jump ahead 6 months and I'm laying in a hospital bed. I just wrecked a Jeep on Independence Pass. I was living under a bridge. I had nothing. 2 years after that, I'm back with my career, which at the time was to be a pro skier. But it's winding down. I'm desperately afraid because I'm about 29 and my life is looking like it's over. I'm in Vail. It's the end of the ski season. It's early spring. And I think, gosh, what am I going to do with my life? Well, I had just broken up with a woman who was the North American mogul skiing champion. I was getting ready to head back to Boulder, and I was in my last pro competition of the year. And I had disqualified early in the morning, so I went down and I took a nap. The rest of my friends were out skiing, and I knew when they got back, we were going to head back to Boulder where I was living in the summers. And so I wound up deeply slipping into sleep. And how many of you believe in epiphanies as being one of those turning points in your existence? Well, I had this remarkable dream where I was talking with my friends in the back rows of Vail, and we were all making plans, and yeah, we're going to be windsurfing up the reservoir, climbing El Dorado Canyon, we're going to the National Park, lots of concerts. And in the middle of this conversation, suddenly this trout launched out of the snowbank and grabbed a butterfly that was flying by and disappeared back into the snow. And I looked at them and I said, "Did you see that?" And they were still talking, and I woke up. I was full of fear. I suddenly looked at where my life was at and I thought, gosh, what the heck am I going to do? Well, by the time they returned and we got the car packed, I'd made a decision. We got over Vail Pass, we got down to the base of Copper Mountain, where Mears Junction is and the highway to Leadville is. And I said, "Stop the car." So I got out of the car and I had a day pack that had a few possessions in it. I had a pair of ski boots and skis, and I had a sketch pad full of ideas that I had carried with me. It was mid-April. I just turned around and looked in the car and I said, "You guys can divvy up my stuff. I'm never coming home. My art career starts today." And I stuck my thumb out. Caught a ride with about the 20th car that came by, hitchhiked over to Leadville, got shot at by the cops while I walked through Leadville, hitchhiked to Buena Vista, and then on to Johnson Village, and where the Coyote is. It used to be a classic American truck stop cafe called the Dinner Bell. And I picked up the payphone and I called my old high school friend who owned a fish hatchery in the valley. Said, "Man, I gotta get my head together. Can I come visit you?" Well, we got out there, and the day that I got there, his hired man quit. And I thought about it and I said, this could be a sign. So I took the job. And I spent the next 3 years farming fish, living, sleeping, eating, breathing trout. At the end of that time, I'd made enough money that I was able to go ahead, come to town, and I started managing a video store. It was where Gone to the Dogs is. And my studio became upstairs, remodeled that whole building. And all this time, I'm still clinging to the notion of an art dream. And one of the things that kept me going was a sketch that I had that I'd done on the 10th of May out at the hatchery when I was so worried and insecure about my dream. I'm going to pick this out and I'm going to pass it around to everybody. Now let's fast forward to today. As of this point, it's my good fortune that 30 years into this, I now get to be head guide for the premier fly fishing operation in this valley and do my best to help 26 other guys and gals take people out and learn how to fly fish and enjoy these incredible waters. I also had a gallery in town for 13 years, and in 2005, all of a sudden I worked out to the next level, and I was able to step away from retail gallery life and now use the internet to market my work, and I paint and fly fish for a living. And if I wouldn't have had the dream that I like to call rites of spring, this never would have happened. So now I look at it and I begin to see other people who are here with the same entrepreneurial drive that I had at that point. And I love what I'm seeing. It's so rich and full here, and you guys can feed off each other. And what I really desire to see is anybody who has that aha moment, like I did with the dream, reach out and grab it. What have you got to lose except your pain and fear? And that's what I discovered when I got here to Buena Vista. It was long enough ago that when I got here, Main Street and the highway were the only roads that were paved in town. And a big night was going down and getting a Slurpee at 7-Eleven.
Still can do that.
Which I absolutely love, and I hope doesn't change for a long, long time. But from that humble sketch, which kind of encapsulated where my art career was, this is what the dream looks like today.
Oh, wow, I have that print in my house.
Yes, you do. And that's my story.
Ah.